I owe my parents a huge debt. Huge debt. I owe my parents a huge debt for the work and effort they've put in to raising me. Today, I want to explain to you the brutal reality of why. Let's go.
Like diamonds, I'm watching how you glow.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy AJ here, coming through your TV screen, your phone screen, your laptop screen, and beyond. How you bloody doing, mate? I love you. Let's just get that out of the way. Straight to the point. I love you. My parents, even till today, I don't think the idea and ideology of repaying your parents for the work they put in is something that anybody's going to ever accomplish in their lifetime. But I would certainly like to try. So I want to explain to you why I think of the relationship of me and my parents in this light. It's okay. So I've told you, if you've watched this series multiple times, that my father died when I was a child. I've never actually told you how in detail. Yeah, if you've watched previous videos, you would have known that he died in a car accident, brutally. What I didn't mention was how that accident came to be. I'm going to walk you through a little process. If I get emotional at some point, it's because I'm digging deep to remember, and I'm letting myself feel, because one of the things that got me through this whole time is me not actually letting myself grieve. So at times when I talk about my parents, I might get emotional, or if I talk about my trauma, I'll get emotional. But the stark description of how my father came to die the day he did. So we were there on a regular, it was a Sunday if I'm not mistaken. My father was spending time with me. We were bonding, father and son. Didn't think the next 20 minutes would have gone the way how it did, or the next couple of hours. My father got a phone call, and he was asked to go into work on his day off. They requested his presence at his job on his day off. My father looked at me, I looked at him, he looked at me, I looked at him. I directly asked my father not to go to work. I asked him to stay with me. My father looked at me, I looked at him. He looked at me, I looked at him, and he said he has to go. That was the last time I ever saw my dad. Me asking him not to go to work. Said his goodbyes to my mother. My mother was cooking dinner, favorite food, and they said their goodbyes, and dude, but couples did when they say goodbye. Tragic part about that is, a few hours later was when a barrage of cars surrounded our house, and my family broke the news to my mother that he just got into a car accident and he was pronounced dead on the spot of the car accident. Like, on the scene, he died on the spot. What's interesting about that is, my father's passing is so one in a million that for years it baffled me, even though I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, still baffled me because it was so one in a million. What made it one in a million? My father got picked up to go to work in a car that had 3 other people in it. So when this accident occurred, my father was the only one out of a car of 4 people. My father was the only one that died, let alone got injured. It was so bizarre to me that for years, decades, I find it hard. I found it really hard to process that situation. My father passed away on his way to work to provide for me and our family. I owe my father a debt I'll never be able to pay because he's not here. But I do owe my father a debt. In that vein, in that space, in that scenario, you would understand why my father in my head is perceived as a hero. It's willing to leave our bonding time to go provide for me. I have a lot of respect for my father and how he went about the way he did things. Secondly, my mother, after my father passed away, it was like a ripple effect. My mother then lost her job within the same year. Our family, in a sense, in my opinion, not that they are bad people, but they abandoned their role as family. There was not many people we could have turned to give help. There is someone who did show up and showed up on time to intervene in what otherwise would have been a very horrible outcome. But my mother never stopped fighting, even when there was nothing left to fight for. On her own, by herself, 3 kids. My dad just passed away. No family to turn to. Not much friends to turn to. Instead of quitting, my mother got up, stood up, and she fought. And she kept fighting. She kept fighting. Even till today, it's hard for me to convince my mother to slow down. Because she's so used to always, just constantly working, constantly providing, constantly going at it. Even my mother is 60 years old. She's got a lot of fight left. I try to convince her to slow down because you're not the age you used to be. Your body can't keep up the way it used to. Slow down. This is the age where you might hurt yourself. So she's learning how to take it slow. In the meanwhile, I'm trying to come up with a way how to repair her for the effort she's put in. Was she perfect? No. Hell no. My mother has made some bad decisions. But I don't judge. If everyone was supposed to judge everyone based on every decision they've made, a lot of people would be in hell right now. A lot more than there are in hell right now. if hell is even a real place. But I'm just saying, if everyone judged everyone based on everything they've ever said or done, the world would be very evil. And it would be a way more cruel place than it is right now. And it's a very cruel place right now. But I owe my parents a debt in that sense. My father gave everything he had. My mother continues to give everything she has for my survival, for my betterment. Like, I can't see myself not trying to repeat at it and say, hey, thank you for what you've done. No, there is a parallel conversation to this because not everyone has the same relationship with their parents as I do. For those of the people who don't have a good relationship, I sympathize. I understand. And this conversation is not for you. I would get it if you would keep scrolling, swipe left, pause, press X. I understand. But for the people who do have a good relationship with their parents, see where I'm coming from. If your parents worked any bit as hard as mine, my mother is 60 years old and she still has 2 jobs. I cannot understand that for the life of me. I've been trying for the longest while to get her to slow down, but she's so used to being in that space when you're providing and protecting and guiding and leading 3 kids on your own. You kind of have to get creative. In a third world country, yeah, you have to be creative. And that she was. She was a superhero by day, superhero by night. Somewhere in between that, she was a mother. But it worked. It worked, and it worked well. If my dad was here, I'm pretty sure he would be equally fighting the same battles as her for me and my other siblings. Unfortunately, that's not how the universe decided to play it out. But it in a sense, watching my mother be my mother was the reason behind a lot of why I am the way I am. My drive comes from her. My work ethic comes from her. My effort comes from her. My love for life and people comes from her. She's a little bit more forgiving than I am, but still comes from her. And I owe her this great debt of gratitude for the effort she has put in and she continues to put in. If it wasn't for that, I don't know. I honestly don't know where I'd be. But if you have a similar story, if you have something similar to this, parallel to this, if you think you don't owe your parents anything for what they've done to you, well, let me know. That's why there's a comment section, or you can inbox me. Either way. But yeah, I think I owe them a debt of gratitude that I'm so hell-bent on repaying. It's literally why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Is I just want my mother to see some type of success from me. To say, hey, this is what your hard work has done. Reap the benefits. But until then, I hope she sticks around long enough to see it. That's the only thing. I'm not much of a religious person, but when I do get around to praying, that's mostly what I pray for. So that she's here long enough to see it. I don't want her to go without understanding that what she did, the effort she put in, the energy she gave was worth it. There is a product on the end of that. And that's me. That's my sister and my brother. My brother is in the army, my sister is an accountant, and her son is striving to be an entrepreneur. I take that as a win. And we're all subconsciously thriving for the same thing. To give back that debt that is owed for all the work she's put in. I don't know if that's how you see your parents, but that's how I see mine. I have to be grateful I don't have a choice. life has been very unkind to me and my family, but we're not the kind of people that play victims. Like, we take a bad situation and dare we say make it better. But yeah, that's all I have for you. Until next time, it's your boy AJ. I'm signing out.